Good evening, Aditi. Shall we start? I don't think Akshita will join us today also.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Chalo. Wonderful. So, what were we studying all this time? क्या पढ़े हैं? Aditi, do you remember what did we study last 2 weeks? No.
Should I tell?
Yeah. Bolo.
So basically learned about digital marketing and the modernization in marketing that has been happening. How digital marketing is important, how is brand marketing important, how the digital marketing has helped brand from being just a logo to actually delivering it to the customer, how the customer review is important and now customer is the king, how data can be transferred and data is the entire gold the entire world is thriving on. And we learned about YouTube, the ads and web pages, how do they actually work, and SEO and things.
Yeah. That was our yesterday. That's what we did. Right? So from the beginning, what we have done is we tried to understand what's a brand. We tried to understand what are brand elements. We tried to understand what are the associations of the brand elements with the consumer. Okay, how does a consumer remember a brand? How does a consumer associate himself with a brand through the memories of and the neurons of our brains? The brand elements get stored in the nodes of our brain, and the stronger the nodes are, the stronger is the memory, and the brand itself associates with the wants and needs of the consumer, and also the features, advantages, and benefits of the brand should be what the consumer feels are right. So from there we started learning about brand equity. We said that brand equity comes from brand association and so on and so forth. And then we also learned about how brands are marketed. So we spoke about the product as a big element for the brand. Then we said about the pricing, we spoke about the promotions, and we also spoke about the distribution. And then yesterday we spoke about the branding in the digital era. Right? So how important is that? So now we are slowly getting into another 3 classes. We will be learning basically how you actually build brand equity. Okay. So if you are talking about, in the meantime, we also learned about brand salience to brand resonance. Right. So from the liking of the people to the liking of the consumers of the brand to the loyalty. Now this whole journey that creates a preference for that brand, and that preference is called brand equity. Right? So we are going to learn now that how are we going to develop the brand? How are we going to build that brand? Okay, so the first thing that we are going to learn is leveraging secondary brand association to build brand equity. That 2 words basically. We might remember, we might not remember. We understand the basic concept. That's what it's called. So secondary sources of brand knowledge. So from where does a person get their brand knowledge? Where does a consumer get their brand knowledge? Okay, so the consumer gets brand knowledge from people. Okay, people from the company point of view, of course, the employees get the brand knowledge, and from the consumers outside the company point of view, they are endorsers. What are endorsers? People who create that word of mouth advocate of that, right? And then there are places. So places like country of origin, online and offline channels. From these places, we also gather a lot of knowledge. Okay, so if we talk about country of origin, we know that Pepsi is originates in US, or McDonald's originates in US, okay, or Disney originates in US. Okay. So from there, if you go back to the origin of that country and you start learning about the brand, we get a lot of knowledge there. And of course, the online and offline channels give us a lot of knowledge about a brand, correct? About a brand and all that.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
so doesn't the consumer knows about a brand just from the need of it? Like the moment I want to have that thanda thing in a
Mhm.
summer,
Mhm.
I'll obviously search for beverages and
Mhm. You search
Coca-Cola,
for
Pepsi.
you search for beverages online today. Suppose online was not there. How do you know? How many times do you go and search about a brand called Cadbury Schweppes, which is a beverage brand? You search it? No,
Mm.
because you don't know about it. So where do you gather those knowledge? You can gather those knowledges from all these sources. From the employees, from word of mouth endorsers, from online and offline channels, from the country of origin, then from other brands. You know, when I talk about Cadbury Schweppes as a beverage, then from other brands who are similar to that, possibly a Pepsi, 7-Up, or whatever, from the different companies, from the different brand extensions, okay, from the different alliances. One brand alliance has an alliance with the other, like McDonald's and Disney has an alliance. When you go into a McDonald's store, you see Disney's characters there, right? Okay, so they have an alliance, very strong alliance. When you buy a laptop, Lenovo, or buy a laptop, HP, they will have an Intel Inside chip there, right? So they have a strong alliance there, correct? So these alliances, then when you go and have a burger in McDonald's, you also have, you know, the sauces coming from written there, coming from Cremica. So they have an alliance with the
Yeah.
sauces company, right? They have an alliance with them, so chili powder, chili flakes company. They have an alliance with the oregano company. So those alliances also give you some knowledge about the brand. Okay, and finally, certain things like events. If you go into some events and you gather some knowledge about many brands there, you know, some exhibitions, some fairs, some festivals, some you know uh, uh, conferences, or there are plenty of industry fairs. Okay, which happen, electronic fair, this fair, that fair, वहां से भी आपको brand का बहुत सारा knowledge मिलता है. Then of course the third party industry. So we are going to come one after that. Okay, so effects
So,
of existing. Yeah, tell me.
so there's this question I wanted to ask. Yesterday we were learning about Google, no?
Mhm.
So all these Android companies, they have a strong alliance with Google,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely, yes, yes. They have
But
an
Apple,
they have a Samsung or a Vivo or a Oppo or whatever name you say. They have alliance with two companies, of course. One is Google, and the other one is Android itself. ठीक है? Because
okay,
Android gives them the platform, right? Platform बनाता कौन है? Android बनाता. So that company brand
yeah,
Samsung, they have to have a alliance with Android, and they have to have a minimum alliance with Google, because they give you all those, you know, APIs, applications, Google Chrome, Google Photo, Google this, Google that kind of applications. Without which an Android phone won't work, right?
yeah.
So that's a strong alliance between those companies and Google and Android.
And so there's this one more question. It's a very laymanish question, sir.
Yeah.
But sir, Apple as a company, it has a alliance with iOS and Safari, right? So what Google?
Unfortunately, iOS and Safari both are Apple's own products. Okay. Just like Samsung doesn't have their own, mobile platform, they take the platform from Android or Vivo or Oppo or whatever brand you say. Apple, unfortunately, have their own. That's the credibility of that. They don't buy it from somebody else. They make their own platform. Safari or Siri, they are their own platforms. लेकिन Android phone has everything which comes from which is outsourced, which has an alliance. Android, a Samsung company has to have an alliance with Android, have an alliance with Google, and then so on and so forth. Then they work. Samsung doesn't have its own platform there. Correct. Okay. Of course. An Apple phone does do some alliance they have outside their company. They buy some of the components. Okay. Now those are not just like they buy the, if I am not mistaken, they buy the audio components. जो आपका AirPods they make themselves. लेकिन एक phone में जो आपका audio है, those audio components they buy from somebody. They have an alliance with somebody. Okay, so something like that. So or there are certain just with the camera itself, the components of the lens and the all they buy from some company. Okay, they have an alliance with such companies. Okay. So those some technology which they are not experts. They have an alliance. However, in an Android phone, everything is outsourced. They buy from others. That's why Apple has a better credibility, and that's why they can make their product unique. किसी और के पास नहीं होगा, मेरे पास है. So, effect on existing brand knowledge. 3 important factors in predicting the extent of leverage from linking the brand to another entity: awareness and knowledge of the brand of the entity, meaningfulness of the knowledge of the entity, and transferability of the knowledge of the entity. We will come to each one of them. Okay. So when we talk about understanding transfer of brand knowledge, so remember, when you associate a brand knowledge, what comes in? The awareness of the brand, the features of the brand, which is going to be the attributes of the brand, the benefits, the image of the brand, the thoughts around the brand, the feelings around the brand, the judgments around the brand, the attitude around the brand. These are all knowledges that we have, right? And of course, the experience finding. And similarly, the brand can transfer that knowledge to another entity. Suppose I just give you an example of, let us take a beverage. Let us take up the Pepsi pite. When you drink Pepsi, you say it's a cola drink. Or when you drink Coke, you say it's a cola drink, it's a carbonated drink, right? At the same time, when you drink a Limca, okay, you also say it's a carbonated drink coming from Coke. A thumbs up is a carbonated drink coming from Coke. So they both get associated. You have a transfer of knowledge. You always say thumbs up is a Coke product. Correct. Or Minute Maid is a Coke product. So you're associating, you're transferring those knowledges up. If it was not a Coke product, possibly uska brand equity wahan nahi pahunchta. So uska awareness, attributes, benefits, this all gets transferred from that Coke to this Minute Maid. Okay, Coke product, right? So when you talk about a Minute Maid, it needs to be associated to another brand. Correct. When you talk about suppose I talk about a car brand like Porsche. Okay. When I talk about Porsche, okay, I will say that Porsche is a Volkswagen brand. And then as associated, there is a knowledge transfer happening. That brand ka jitna bhi knowledge hai, Volkswagen as a brand, uska jitna knowledge hai. I say that Porsche comes from that brand. It's a great brand. So it has a great attribute, great thoughts, great feelings, great attitude, great experience. So everything gets transferred from brand to another entity. And that's the fun of brand. You always associate one brand to another. Okay. And which is the closest that you can associate. आप अगर हल्दीराम भी लेते हो, हल्दीराम का फर्स्ट दिमाग में जब आता है तो आपको हल्दीराम भुजिया आता है. So one brand that again, अगर हल्दीराम का आप all in one फरसान भी खाते हो, बोलते हो अरे यार वो हल्दीराम का भुजिया आता है ना, बहुत अच्छा. So there's certain elements which gets transferred as knowledge, and that's why the other brands start building up. उसका equity built up होता है. Correct. You say Kit Kat is a Nestle product. So Nestle itself is a brand and Kit Kat itself is a brand. So you're transferring that awareness, attribute, benefit, image of Nestle to Kit Kat and vice versa. Correct? Does it happen like that? Just soch ke dekho. Always it happens like that. Correct. You never think of a brand individually. You always associate it to something around. Correct.
Yeah, when we actually buy these fast track watches, we genuinely buy it because it's a Titan का मतलब सब वाला part.
Exactly.
Timex.
आप तनिष्क की ज्वेलरी खरीदने जाते हो, अरे वो टाइटन का ब्रांड बहुत अच्छा ब्रांड, ठीक है. आप नाइकी के शूज खरीदने जाते हो, अरे कोई भी नाइकी का एक ब्रांड खरीद रहे हो, आप बोलते हो ये नाइकी का ब्रांड, राइट, या ये एडिडास का ब्रांड, या ये रिबॉक का ब्रांड. So you always associate one with the other, and there is a transfer of knowledge. एक का image transfer होता है, किसी का thoughts, किसी का feelings, किसी का judgments, किसी का attitude. Think about all the brands that you use in your have used sometime or other. You must have associated with some. You must have got the transfer of knowledge most of the time from another entity.
Like sir, Tata, मतलब एक नमक that is very सस्ता, to Starbucks, that's a luxury coffee, the best coffee. Tata के नाम पे, it's a Tata product.
So Starbucks coffee. I won't say coffee. I will say Starbucks coffee. The coffee's knowledge gets transferred because I know Starbucks gives me the best coffees. And then you start associating the awareness of Starbucks coffee. वो latte बनाते हैं, वो African coffee बनाता है, वो ये बनाता है, वो बनाता है. All your awareness, your knowledge, your the attributes of good coffee, okay, image of a good coffee, all gets transferred to Starbucks, and Starbucks brand equity gets transferred to that. Correct? Okay. Leveraging secondary brand association may allow marketers to create or reinforce an important point of difference, or create or reinforce a necessary or competitive point of parity versus competitors. Okay. So very importantly, जब भी आप associate करते हो ना एक brand को किसी और brand के साथ, और एक brand को किसी और product के साथ associate करते हो, एक product को किसी, so either you reinforce the point of difference, ठीक है, कि मुझे पेप्सी अच्छा लगता है, कोक अच्छा नहीं लगता. देखो अनकॉन्शियसली आपने दोनों का point of difference की बात बोली, and you have associated both. Correct. मुझे I like Maruti car sedans. I do not like Volkswagen Polo. Point of difference आप वहीं पे create कर रहे हो, या तो आप point of parity भी कभी-कभी सोचते हो, अरे यार this tastes as good as a Cadbury's. This car is as good as a as a Range Rover. This shirt looks, or this dress looks as good as a designer dress from Kalki.
Sir, can you please explain point of parity? फिर से मैं भूल गई, difference याद है.
Point of parity is basically दो brands के बीच में जो commonalities है, all the common things. ठीक है. So just to give an example, when I talk of a Honda Activa scooter, which is an automatic scooter, which is 120 cc, 25 cc, that's a category. And there is today another automatic gear scooter, 125 cc, which comes from Suzuki or Yamaha. So दोनों same family से belong करते, same category of products से belong करते, same set, same उसके attributes are similar. They are two-wheelers, they are 125 cc's, and they are automatic. So they have a category membership. All the three are in similar category. That's called category membership. They have a point of parity. At the same time, all the three have point of difference. One would say, I have the best fuel efficient car, best fuel efficiency. I give 100 kilometers a liter. The other one would say, I have the best speed. I have got 50 bhp engine. The other one would say possibly something else. That would be the point of difference. They are members of the same category. At the same time, they have differences. Correct? Got it? Okay, so now come to another example. Talk about beverages. You remember we were talking about beverages that day? There are alcoholic beverages, non-alcoholic beverages. In the non-alcoholic beverages, there are, milk-based beverages and there are water-based beverages. Okay. So first of all, they all belong to beverage category. They have a commonality that they are members of the beverage category. Then come to the next level. They are members of the water-based beverage category or milk-based beverage category. So you're not going to compare a milk-based beverage category with a water-based beverage. I am not going to compare a Pepsi Cola with a Amul Chas. Right? Amul Chas or Amul milkshake is a milk-based beverage. Pepsi Cola is a carbonated water-based beverage. So that's the point of difference. However, what is the point of parity? That both are beverages. Correct. Amul Chas and Amul milkshake both are milk-based beverages. So their membership of the categories, they are milk-based beverages. That's why you can say that, yes, I'm comparing this milk-based beverage with that one. And what is the point of this difference? That one is a chas, buttermilk, the other is a milk, it's pure milk. Correct? So now you've got point of parity, point of difference. Both are important. Correct? Both are important. Commonality leverage in strategy. So commonality leveraging strategy makes sense when consumers have associations to another entity that are congruent to the brand. This is the same thing that I'm talking about. Commonality. They are both milk-based beverages. Right. That's a commonality. They are both alcoholic beverages. That's a commonality. So one brand and the other brand are congruent because they are alcoholic beverages. They are milk beverages. They are water-based beverages. Coke and Pepsi, Coca-Cola and Pepsi are both carbonated drinks. That's the commonality. Okay. And
Sir,
that is
fruity,
हाँ बोलो.
ये fruity किस category में आएगा? Fruity, Maaza, Slice.
Fruity is a fruit-based beverage. Fruity, Maaza, Minute Maid. You talk about all the shakes that are available in the market. आप जाते हो watermelon shake, this shake, that shake. ठीक है, बहुत सारे बनते हैं. So that's a beverage, but that's a fruit-based beverage. One is a fruit-based, one is a milk-based, one is a water-based, one is a alcoholic beverage. In alcoholic beverage, one is a, you say these are all vodkas, these are all whiskeys, these are all beers, these are all different. Lekin the commonality is that they belong to the alcoholic. Correct? Okay, and then when you talk about the commonality, then you start associating. I am having a Amul milkshake and I am having a Hershey's milkshake. Then you start comparing. Then you have a brand association. You cannot have a brand association with a Hershey's milkshake or Amul milkshake and a Johnny Walker Black Label whiskey, right? So there's no secondary association there. So secondary association can be very, very important. There has to be a commonality. There has to be a category members. Once they have a category member, it reinforces that there is a point of difference between these two products and there's a point of parity in these two products or these two brands. Complementary branding strategy makes sense when entities represent a departure from brand because there are few, if any, common or similar associations. If there's no association, there's no commonality, it doesn't belong to that same category, there's no category membership about them, it's away from that category. So similar. If I talk about both are beverages, alcoholic beverages and non-alcoholic beverages, at least दोनों में कोई तो parity है, कोई commonality है, कोई association है. Can you compare a milkshake with a scooter? No, right? So there has to be always a complementarity between one and the other. You cannot compare a four-wheeler with a two-wheeler. You cannot compare a housing apartment with any food. Do not have any. They represent a departure for the brand because there are few, if any, common or similar association. There is almost no association. However, at many times, even complementary brands, have sometimes they have an association. Okay, just like you talk about Haldiram as a restaurant and Haldiram as a snacking company. They are complementary brands, right? They have a commonality. They have food. They sell food. They are foods inside. Correct? Tata makes trucks. Okay, and Tata makes four-wheelers. Both are automobiles. They are complementary brands, right? They have few similarities. They are automobiles first. However, they come from some brand.
There's this question, sir.
Yeah.
Talking about Tata, which is like one of the, for me, that's one of the nicest companies existing.
Mhm.
So, like, people, do they go to Taj Mahal Palace, in the name of Tata, or Taj stands beyond that?
Taj as a brand is a hospitality brand of Tata's. So they are a hospitality brand of Tata. So Taj Mahal Palace, Taj Mahal Palace and Taj Convention Center in Delhi, or Taj Mahal Hotel and Taj President in Colaba, yeah, Taj Lancet in Bandra, or there are plenty of Taj across, right? So Taj is a property, is a brand of Tata's. This is some just like tomorrow. Today they have bought over Air India, so Air India becomes a Tata's brand. Similarly, Taj is a Tata's brand. So it's a part of that family brand called Tata.
So, sir, there's this question. Like, we as kids right now, okay, we go to Taj Mahal Palace. We can't afford it on our income. Our dads would do. So, sir, at those the people who are actually mature enough to take that decision, they like Taj for being Taj, Gateway, Ginger Hotel Group, या फिर they go just because of the trust of Tata.
Trust of Tata mostly, and they know it's a good question. How did trust come? Trust Tata comes. Ginger is another brand of Tata's. It's another hospitality brand of Tata's. Taj is the premium brand, Ginger is the economic brand. Correct. Like overall, if you or your father go to Ginger and you and your father go to Taj, okay, why would you go there? Why would you prefer to go there and not in an ITC hotel, or not in a welcome group hotel, or not in any other hotel, a Marriott's or whatever? Listen. Because possibly you have got that trust, and your brand equity of Tata's with you is very high. Reference of Tata's with you is very high. So you always would prefer to go to a Tata hotel, Tata's hospitality property. Why? Because you feel that it's trustworthy. So this brand equity happens when you remember that brand's resonance wala pyramid, brand salience niche se upar tak. So that feeling, that liking, that feeling, that judgment, that association, that loyalty, everything matters. Correct?
Okay.
So complementary branding strategy. So basically, complementary branding strategy makes sense that entities represent a departure for brand because there are few, if any, common or similar association. Just like same thing that you said. Tata makes automobiles and Tata makes hotels also. Tata has hotels also. Both are Taj is a brand and Tata's cars are another brand. And they do not have any commonality, or very few commonality, that only they come from Tata's. Correct. And that is another kind of an association. Okay, that's another kind of a secondary brand association. You are associating both in the name of Tata. However, both are not. They don't say Tata Hotel. Taj Hotel. Correct. though in the cars they use a Tata logo for automobiles, they say it's Altroz, it's this, it's that. The brand name are different. ठीक है, मैंने एक Altroz खरीदा, आप ये नहीं बोलते मैंने टाटा Altroz खरीदा, मैंने एक सफारी खरीदा. आप बहुत रेयरली बोलते हो मैं टाटा, एक्चुअली इट्स अ टाटा सफारी. लेकिन आप बहुत रेयरली आप अनकॉन्शियसली बोलते हो मैं सफारी खरीदा. However, there is an association always. वो secondary association is always there. अरे यार वो तो टाटा. Okay, got it. Company existing brand can be related to a corporate or a family. This is where your Tata comes in. Existing brand can be related to a corporate or a family brand. Tata is a family brand. Okay, Taj, Tata cars or Tata trucks, Tata buses. They're all there. They do not have individual brand name. Automobiles of Tata do not have individual. They have individual product brand, but they do not have any umbrella brand. They say Taj is an umbrella brand for Tata's hospitality. Ginger is another for Tata's hospitality. One is economy, the other one is premium. So similarly, if you talk about many other brands, possibly even ITC. ITC has hotels. ITC has consumer products also. Correct. So आप ITC का सनफीस्ट एक ब्रांड है बिस्किट्स का. ITC का सनराइज एक स्पाइसेस का ब्रांड बन गया है अभी. ITC का आशीर्वाद का आटा बन गया है. So many brands under ITC, right? And at the same time, ITC also has Welcome Group as a hotels. ITC also has cigarettes. Okay, Wills है, Goldfake है, these are all brand names, right? Classic है, these are all brand names. And
So when ITC started, in my first year, my professor told me he was teaching us marketing. So, so ITC started from Kolkata, starting में सबसे पहले शायद.
They're still in Kolkata. Their headquarters still is.
So sir, there's this thing. Why would someone ever use tobacco in their name, like Indian Tobacco Company? Why would anyone do that when you have to produce a completely different line of products?
They happen to be a tobacco company. They happen to be a tobacco company. They originated as a tobacco company. However, when in the long run, when tobacco business is going down, it's on a downward trend. So they cannot continue to lose their revenues in business, right? They have to grow somewhere. So they very silently converted first themselves into apparel companies, Will's Lifestyle, right? Then they slowly came into consumer foods. And then they came into consumer personal care food products. We will soap and this and that. Correct. And also as a backup, they always had this Welcome Group as a, so Welcome Group, they never, use the word ITC welcome. They said it's a welcome of hotels. Moria hotels. All the Welcome Group, ITC Welcome Group hotels across the country, across the world. Okay. So that's the origin. They originated as a tobacco company. They were the wings of the British Tobacco Company in the South Asia. From there, they transferred their legacy to first apparel. They also had the hotels business. Then they first diversified into apparels. Then they diversified into food products. Then they diversified into personal care products and so on and so forth. And now they also have agriculture business. Agriculture procurement of and agriculture business of producing chilies, producing.
Is that the same case with Aditya Birla Group as well?
Aditya Birla did not ever have tobaccos. So Aditya Birla, of course, is a conglomerate. So these kind of companies are usually called conglomerate. They have a very diversified business, just like Adani, Reliance, Aditya Birla, Okay, they are all very, very diversified conglomerates. They have different categories of business. So Aditya Birla has their no, क्या बोलते हैं, their cotton, I mean their
Pantaloon.
Pantaloon is a supermarket, ठीक है, but they have अपना सेंचुरी का जो ये है, सेंचुरी कॉटन जो बोलते हैं, सेंचुरी mills. So Century Mills is a part of their business. So they have such many other business. They have Aditya Birla supermarkets. They Aditya Birla. They have education. They are big time into
They have
education.
schools.
They have schools. Okay. So lot of things. See, similarly Adani, similarly Reliance. Okay. All of them are conglomerates. They have diversified business. Reliance have electricity. Reliance have this, that, etc. So many, and all of them have different brand names. So they are Goenkas are very diversified. They're into electricity. They're into, Spencer's supermarket and so on and so forth. They are into food business. Okay, so corporate or family brand can be a source of brand equity already. So when you buy an ITC product, even without knowing you are buying an ITC product, that corporate brand name, that family brand name of ITC already has that, creates a brand equity for that sub brand. आप जानते हो ये ITC, आप बोलते हो ये ITC का प्रोडक्ट है, अच्छा होगा, ये टाटा का प्रोडक्ट है, अच्छा होगा. So that family brand leverages the brand. Correct. 3 main branding options exist for a new product: create a new brand, adopt or modify an existing brand, and third is combine an existing and a new. So create a new brand is a long-term journey. ठीक है, आपको एकदम scratch से शुरू करना पड़ेगा. From ideation of the brand to manufacturing of the brand, and then developing their brand equity, brand salience, brand knowledge, etc. जो भी अभी तक पढ़े उसको बनाना पड़ेगा. That takes time. So ITC अगर एक brand बना है, didn't happen in a month, right? Or a day. It took a long time. Tata's took a long time to be a brand. Godrej took a long time to be a brand. A brand with a great equity, great trust, great preference. Correct. So creating a brand is a long-term proposition. On the other hand, what you can do is you simply adopt or modify an existing brand. As there are so much of mergers and acquisitions happening across the world, आप खरीद लो किसी और brand. Just like my earlier company, last company, we bought this brand called Kohinoor Basmati. We bought that brand. Okay, McCormick was a US company which was the world's largest spice flavor seasoning company. They wanted to come into India, have their footprint in the Indian market. The ultimate goal was to sell spices in India, because India happens to be one of the largest spice markets. So a US company would love to come here and sell spices because they have the expertise of selling spices. So how do they enter the market? They would enter the market. They entered the market by buying this brand called Kohinoor Basmati. Because Kohinoor Basmati was very well distributed in the country, it was very well represented. So they said that was an easier way to get into the market. So they came into, they adopted the brand, they bought over that brand, and they tried on that existing brand. And then they came into spices with the same name, Kohinoor spices. So you adopt a brand, or modify an existing brand, combine an existing and a new brand. So that's what they did. They came with their own spices and they named it a Kohinoor. Okay, एक अच्छा brand था, उसके साथ existing brand को combine कर. एक नया brand लाया, Kohinoor, I mean एक spice लाया, Kohinoor spices, and existing जो Kohinoor नाम था उसको दे दिया. It became an easy task for them to establish that brand. Right? They did not have to create a new brand. They first adopted the Kohinoor brand, and then you can modify an existing brand also.
Sir, Walmart ने Flipkart को खरीदा है ना?
Yes.
So they did the same?
Yes, they did the same. Of course, Walmart ने Flipkart को खरीदा because they wanted to get into the e-commerce space in India. That was the purpose. So Flipkart को खरीदा, Flipkart का Myntra है, Flipkart का Jabong है, तीनों मिलकर भी Walmart की प्रॉपर्टी हो गया. And Walmart, of course, is one of the world's giants in supermarkets. So they were not into e-commerce. They wanted to fight with Amazon. How would they do it? So they tied up. So it reminds me. I will give you a case study on this Walmart and Flipkart merging. Okay, it'll be very interesting. Okay, so up to here, any other questions? Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Is it interesting, boring? Okay.
It's
I don't know
really
how many of you are aware that ITC has bought one of the largest spice brands of the East, Sunrise. Sunrise करके एक Eastern India का spice brand है. It's one of the largest brand in the country today. They bought it over. It was a 50 years old brand. Last year they bought that brand. And what they did was उसमें ITC का Sunrise से छप्पा लगा. So they modified that existing brand and they adapted it first. They modified that existing brand into ITC Sunrise. And see, they have captured the whole Eastern region market so easily.
So I was legit flabbergasted. My professor told me this thing that these cigarettes that ITC produce, ITC was the first. उन्होंने Will's lifestyle सुना था. I thought Will's company. I heard about that. It was the first company who actually invented that filter thing. Indian Tobacco Company in the rain, and everyone across the globe now, does that. Like उनका उतना invention होता रहता है ITC का.
Yeah. So ITC is a very, very innovative company, no doubt about it. Like they got their legacy from British Tobacco Company, BTC. They split one at one point. Right? They didn't allow BTC to come into South Asia and start business. Because British Tobacco Company was the company who manufactured big brands like Dunhill and all. They were huge brands, and so ITC collaborated with them. ITC was a part of them. Then, a part of their share was taken by these people, ITC ke jo Malik the time, and they started ITC. And of course, by that time, they already gathered a lot of knowledge of both tobacco business worldwide. So they started creating great brands. Their filters were actually worldwide, very well accepted. And other companies, of course, started to continue with this innovation. So ITC, I would suggest you go into the internet and you learn about it. It's a great story. ITC becoming a big brand. How did it happen? Learn about it. It's a nice one. Country of origin and other geographic areas. A country of geographic location from which a product originates may be. So just like a cigarette of ITC originates from India. Its headquarters in India, right? It becomes linked to the brand. So it's an Indian cigarette. It's an Indian, when you usually see when you go to US or Europe, many times you see that, the cotton shirts, cotton material capitals, most of them come from Southeast Asia. Take Bangladesh, South Asia and Southeast Asia, Bangladesh, Thailand, Myanmar. So they say it's a Bangladeshi product. It's an Indian product. It's an Indian brand. So when they talk about, suppose, India Gate Basmati, which also sells in Europe and also sells in, US, they will say it's an Indian basmati. So they will connect it this brand name with, or the country of origin. So just like if I have bought this car Jeep, which I told you the other day, so people may say it's an American car. Hyundai, it's a Korean car. See, so brand association is very, very strong with the country of origin. Okay, consumers, yeah.
So there's this question while you are explaining point of parity and point of difference and inventions taking place and being copied by, adapting by other companies. Sir, ये USP नहीं break कर देती है. ये तो बहुत contradictory हो गया ना.
Today the life cycle of a brand has shrunk to, I can tell you, in a month. इस जमाने में life cycle of a product or a brand would be, years. आज के दिन में एक product बना, नया product निकाले market में, something unique. It remains unique. कभी कभी तो ऐसा होता है, it remains unique for not more than even 1 month. एक महीने के अंदर इसका problem. या उसका similar product market है, so competition market है.
So isn't that plagiarism?
Not really, not really. You can say that, you cannot say that, because competition is competition. Competition तो आएगा. Competition तो market में हो गया. आपने एक कार बनाया, इसका मतलब तो नहीं you are the only person who knows how to make cars. आपने milkshake बनाया, you have launched a new product called milkshake in the market. It doesn't mean that you are the only person who knows how to make milkshake.
But sir, you taught us कि जब भी एक अच्छा product बनाना है तो उस पे USP होना चाहिए, unique, sustainable and profitable. तो uniqueness जो होगा वो तो hinder हो जाएगा.
That's what I'm saying, right? Uniqueness. So again, I'm coming back to that. I don't know, did I tell you about? Yes, I told you about it. I'm again coming back to that theory of blue ocean strategy to red ocean, purple ocean strategy to red ocean strategy. So when you are in a blue ocean, you are absolutely unique. There is nobody. You are creating a new market. You are the creator. You're not only creating a new product and a brand, you're creating a new market. There's nobody there. You're expanding the market actually. Suppose today in India, there were Eureka-Forbes vacuum cleaners. They were the first vacuum cleaners which got started selling in India. Okay, in 10 years time now, there are vacuum cleaners which work as a mop in your house. So that's absolutely a unique thing. It doesn't have any kind of correlation with the earlier vacuum cleaners. So you have actually expanded the market of vacuum. You have created a new, market for vacuum cleaning. You have extended the circumference of your market. Correct. And then, of course, how long are you there? That depends how unique you are. Not only how unique you are, how confidential you are. That others do not know the know-hows of your product. How well you can protect your image, how well you can protect your market. So that's what I'm saying. The life cycle of a product new product has come down to even 1 month. Actually, there's a transition from a blue ocean to a purple ocean to a red ocean. Red ocean is absolutely full of competition. Purple ocean is somewhere in between. Okay. So if you want, I can take you through one more session sometime if I get time and tell you about these strategies. This is called a strategy. Okay, this is something which I'm supposed to be an expert in this because I go around the country teaching this particular is a very famous. It's something like Sholay for me. There are colleges who come back to me, sir, we would like to learn strategy from me. This is one thing which I teach them.
Yes, so then we need that session.
In fact, I teach professors also. This is an FDP. We have faculty development program for education academy. So this is one topic that I teach it for other faculties also. So there comes strategies. What is strategy, and from there the blue ocean, purple ocean, and red ocean strategy. It's very interesting. Consumer choose brands originating in different countries based on their beliefs about the quality of certain types of products from certain countries. Okay. So if I say Japanese are the best car makers, okay, so what I have done, I've associated all Japanese brands to that country, right? Toyota and Suzuki and so on and so forth. The Hondas of the world, the Yamahas of the world, I've associated to that country.
So Mitsubishi is also a Japanese brand, no?
Mitsubishi is also a Japanese brand. So my belief is Japanese make great quality cars. Just like Europeans are the best quality cars on the world. They say German engineering, right? BMW, Audi, Porsche, Volkswagen, Mercedes, these are all German cars. And Germans are very proud of their own country. Huh? They are one country, I can tell you, who are very proud of their own country assets. They will never go and buy a Japanese car. They always go and buy a German car.
So this is opposite in India. जहाँ बाहर की चीजें import करा लोगे.
German engineering, they are so strong, and so it's a pride for them. They will never go and buy a Samsung or a LG का washing machine. They say that Bosch is the best company I have. Why should I do that? And you should go and see. I'm saying because I have seen that. Only thing, they will buy such things which they are not experts or they do not manufacture. They're not good. Okay. They will buy great ice cream companies, whatever big ice cream companies, Tom and Jerry and this and this, that you will find, which comes from other countries. There are other country brands you will find. But talk about engineering, they are kings. They are very proud. So when you say I'm buying a Mercedes, you will always say I'm buying a German car. So you associate that brand with German. When you buy a Toyota, you say I'm buying a Japanese car. Japanese are also very good in manufacturing cars. Right? They are the people who have actually beaten US cars. Right? General Motors and Ford ko mara hua, achhi tarah mara. At the same time, when you find a Chinese product, you will always associate with China. You know, China car. Pata nahi kitna jandi gaya. So that's where you associate a brand with the quality and with the original. And this is very common, right? हम लोग unconsciously समझते नहीं है कि brand कहाँ से क्या होता है, लेकिन देखो these are all in our day-to-day life. All in our day-to-day life. ये all Vivo, Oppo, ये वो इतने सारे मोबाइल्स आ गए मार्केट में, खरीद तो लेते हैं हम लोग, लेकिन फिर दिमाग में वही रहता है चाइनीज. That origin effects gives you a sort of tinkle. Correct. Country of origin, other geographies, association besides country of origin are possible. States, regions, cities, of course. Not only country to country, even your own other states, other Bihar का है यार. अब बोलते नहीं बिहार का, ये तो केरला का है. हम लोग unconsciously बोलते, but it has a huge deep meaning in it. Very often we use it.
Sir,
ठीक है. हम बॉम्बे में रहते हैं ना, ये बॉम्बे में all the cab drivers, ठीक है, all the people who work as a, I would say, not in office, not a corporate world job, you know, they're mostly UPs. सब लोग बोलते हैं यूपी का भैया. And these Maharashtrians also know that without UP का भैया ही country चलने वाला है. ठीक है. जैसे कि दिल्ली में we often say it's Bihar का है. The whole population is Bihar. This population, non-corporate population is Bihar. यार बिहारी भी है. So unconsciously लोग बोल देते.
Like there was a very solid debate कि Delhi में why are the rapes increasing, and you know the proper Delhites, they said कि ये हमारे लोग हैं ही नहीं, सब आके बसते हो इधर, and then you see.
Right. You know, Kolkata is a city which is now almost 50% of Marwadis and Gujaratis. So that's something like that. Unconsciously you keep saying, अरे यार वो building तो पूरा मारवाड़ी. So we associate it. ठीक है. हमारा अगर किसी और स्टेट में बनता हुआ कोई प्रोडक्ट आता है, हम बोलते हैं वो तो यूपी में बनता है या वो तो कश्मीर में बनता है. आज ऑरेंज बर्फी हम सब जानते हैं, ऑरेंज बर्फी इज गुड फ्रॉम नागपुर. हल्दीराम नागपुर का फेमस चीज है ऑरेंज बर्फी. तो वी एसोसिएट दैट ब्रांड विद नागपुर. कोई और बनाता भी है तो नहीं. मैसूर पाक मिठाई वो साउथ इंडिया का ही है. The state, cities, regions, they always connect somewhere or the other, unconsciously or consciously. Classic US tourism slogans, I love New York. ठीक है. हम क्या बोलते हैं? God's own country, Kerala. Heaven on earth, Kashmir. Consciously बोलते हैं हम, बचपन से सीखे हुए हैं, बचपन से जाने हुए, वैसे ही हम बोलते हैं. ठीक है. I love New York. Virginia is for lovers. Las Vegas, what happens here stays here. Strong brands, huh? Strong brands. Las Vegas is a very strong brand. Virginia, New York. See how they have made brands, themselves brands. उस दिन मैं आपको बता रहा था ना कि आजकल इंडिया में भी ये रिवाज स्टार्ट हो गया. हर लोग मोहल्ले के लोग
I love Banaras.
I love Banaras, I love Kandivali, I love Mira Road, and so on and so forth. It comes actually from Amsterdam. Amsterdam in Netherlands has a park which has a huge, almost one story or two story, love Amsterdam. Like, yeah, people go and take photographs there. Okay. So वहां से शुरू हुआ ये सिलसिला सारा देश में पहुंच गया. Indians are very good in copying. कहीं पर कुछ भी दिखा, किसी ने आके छेड़ा होगा, उसने बना दिया. बनारस में, बरेली में, हर जगह आई लव कर दिया.
Sir, there is this question. सर जैसे ओरियो जो है वो इंडिया में अलग ओरियो रहता है, वो यूएस में जाओ तो it changes, it becomes another Oreo. What is this? How do you change the product पूरा
You don't
completely
change the
out?
product. You don't change the product. Ingredients change the product. The milk in India is not the same milk in US, or the same milk in Japan, or the same milk in Australia, or the same milk in New Zealand. The quality of milk changes. The wheat in India is not the same wheat in US, the same wheat in Australia, or same wheat in China.
सर
हाँ बोलो.
प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट बचाने के लिए भी शायद
नहीं, nothing. इससे production cost की कोई बात नहीं. It's purely on the ingredient. It's purely on the cocoa powder that you get in US, and cocoa powder that you get in Africa, and the cocoa powder that you get in India. All three are different. So Cadbury chocolates in US or Lindt chocolate in US, they are manufactured. Lindt chocolate also manufactured in Germany. They have absolutely different kind of a texture. So it mostly, because I come from a food company, big food company, I know where it changes, mostly the ingredients. Because the ingredients change, quality changes from country to country. ऐसा नहीं कि इंडिया का मिल्क खराब है. The Indian milk quality is different. The Indian milk quality का fat percentage is different, solid non-fat is different.
But like, sir,
हाँ.
these NRIs actually come to India जिनका accent 5 साल में अचानक से change हो जाता है.
हाँ.
They say that those products जो US के होते हैं they are better, and the Indian products are not that.
because you are something like, पता है हमारे मुंबई में ना, Western region has the maximum milk, right? In India, Western region has the maximum milk. Western and the Northwestern, Punjab, Gujarat, these are the milk producing countries. लेकिन पता है हमारे यहाँ पर we don't get मिठाई, जो हमारा कोलकाता का जो संदेश या मिल्क वाला मिठाई होता है ना, मेवा वाले, यहाँ नहीं मिलता. Why? Because the quality of milk required for that kind of a sweet, रसगुल्ला यहाँ भी बनता है, रसगुल्ला कोलकाता में भी बनता है, लेकिन यहाँ का रसगुल्ला will be absolutely different to the रसगुल्ला in Kolkata. Why? Because the milk here and the milk there both are different. यहाँ का पनीर and पंजाब के पनीर में बहुत difference होता है. Why? Because the milk here and the milk in Punjab is different. So you can't say that वो better है, ये खराब है. Because most importantly, आज आप same, suppose you are making a milk based sweet in UP, और वही बंदा US में जाके सेम मिल्क बेस्ड कोई मिठाई बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, सपोज काजू कतरी बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, कुछ भी बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, it will be absolutely different in taste. This was the milk quality there, and the milk quality here is absolutely different. It has nothing to do with manufacturing costs, etc. Nothing. And second very important thing is your taste in India. You have grown with the taste of Kaju Katri of India. So if you go to US even, you will expect that same taste. If you do not get the same taste, you will say, नहीं हमारे इंडिया में काजू कतरी बेटर है, हमारे इंडिया में मैसूर पाक बेटर लगता है, हमारे इंडिया में ऑरेंज बर्फी बेटर लगता है, हमारे इंडिया में मावा बर्फी बेटर लगता है. Same thing like chocolates. If you go and have a Lindt chocolate in Europe, and the manufacturer जहाँ पर होता है वो और किसी और कंट्री में मैन्युफैक्चर, they are on a different side. You go and have a Cadbury's in some other country and have a Cadbury's here, what would be different? Quality.
So, sir, this is the case only with the edible products, no?
This is mostly the case with it. Mostly the case with it. The rest of everything is customized. जैसे car, If you have to sell a Maruti car in Europe, which sells, if you sell a Mahindra cars in Europe, Mahindra will customize it to according to the European roads. Okay, so that's the reason when I was buying my car this time, I was looking at, I told you I was looking at a BMW and Audi and all, and I almost made my mind to the and then my daughter was here that time. So she said that, Papa, your road condition will not, the road conditions in India will not give you comfort on driving those kind of cars. BMWs, Audis, and Mercedes, they are cars which require a certain quality of road for you to enjoy the drive. And then she says to Papa, don't buy it. So same thing when Mahindra and Mahindra, Tata, Maruti, they sell cars in other countries, they have to customize it according to their road conditions and their climatic conditions. In Germany, हमारे इंडिया में हम लोग एक कार यूज करते हैं, उसके टायर सारा साल चलता है, 5 साल 10 साल चलते हैं. In Germany, in all European countries rather, मुझे मालूम चला अभी when my daughter bought a car, कि for winter they have winter tires, for summer they have summer tires. And it's a must, they have to change it, otherwise they will be fined or road. So आप 4 चक्का विंटर के लिए रखो और 4 चक्के समर्स के लिए घर पे रख दो 4 चक्के. तो मैंने बोला ये 4 चक्के रखोगे कहाँ पर? तो बोला नहीं पापा, जो जहां से मैं खरीदता हूँ they will keep it on a safe port for me. जब फिर समर आएगा तो मैं उनके पास जाऊंगा, they will change it. So it all depends on the country condition, their weather conditions. There's so much of snow happening in those countries, so much of icing and snow. Of course, the car के जो body है वगैरह, they will be different to what you require in India, unless you are directly importing some car from there. Okay, आज almost every car, European car, is getting manufactured here, so they manufacture according to them. Channels of distribution can directly affect the equity of the brand they sell. Okay, so channel, we know what a channel is. यहाँ पर intermediaries है, मेरे distributor है, मेरे stockist है, sub-stockist है, and so on and so forth. Retail stores can indirectly affect brand equity through an image transfer process. Okay, what is that? Channel of distribution can directly affect the equity of the brand they sell. आज आप think about you are selling a woman's dress in a great boutique like Kalki or whoever. उसका जो brand equity होगा, the same product you are selling it in a local apparel store, would it have the same thing? No. Why did the brand equity change? Because the intermediary changed. The brand equity, the channel of distribution has a huge effect on the brand equity. Okay. Retail stores can indirectly affect brand equity through an image transfer process. If you sell your product in a great store, then that store's brand equity also is transferred to your product. So you will find a lot of small brands which you have never possibly heard. They go and sell it in great stores. Okay. And then you say, "Arey, यहाँ पर भी price का मतलब ये तो अच्छा है." Retailers have their own brand images in consumers' minds due to the following association: product assortment, pricing, and quality of service. आप कोई भी product Amazon में खरीदोगे, आप बोलते हैं हाँ यार product अच्छा. आप कोई भी product, suppose Big Bazaar में खरीदते हो और same kind of a product you go and buy in Spencer में रखते हो खरीदते हो तो आप बोलते हो वो product बहुत अच्छा. Big Bazaar ठीक है चलता है. So that brand image of Big Bazaar is not possibly as good as Spencer's. The brand image of Reliance is possibly not as good as Spencer's or Aditya Birla Moore. So that retailer's brand image also has a binding on that your product, because retailer से आप जब खरीदते हो आप देखते हो उसका assortment कैसा है, कितने सारे products हैं उसके पास, how many, what is the total inventory उसके पास, कितने variety of products है, ये सारे कुछ, उसका display कैसा है, उसका pricing कैसा है, उसका service कैसा है.
So, The entire apparel line, the
हाँ,
designers one, ये तो पूरा इसी पे तब टिका हुआ है.
absolutely इसी पे टिका हुआ है. आप if you go to stores like Nalli, जो साड़ी बेचते हैं, you have heard about Nalli, right? They themselves have such a brand equity that वहां पर कोई भी साड़ी बिकेगा तो उसका ब्रांड इक्विटी ऑटोमेटिक, प्रोडक्ट जितना भी खराब हो जाए ब्रांड इक्विटी ऑटोमेटिकली ऊपर होगा, ब्रांड प्रेफरेंस ऑटोमेटिकली ऊपर होगा, ब्रांड रेजोनेंस, ब्रांड सेलियंस ऑटोमेटिकली ऊपर होगा. एंड द होल अपैरल इंडस्ट्री आल्सो. आज आप पैंटालून्स में खरीद रहे हो, आज शॉपर स्टॉप में खरीद रहे हो, आप ब्रांड फैक्ट्री में खरीद रहे हो. जब वहां पर ब्रांड फैक्ट्री में घुसते हो, आप घुसते ही आपको लगता है यार यहाँ पर तो सारे अच्छे अच्छे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, हाउ आर दे गिविंग मी डिस्काउंट्स, ग्रेट डिस्काउंट्स. होता है ना.
So like this legit happened. Every girl
The
wants to have the
whole
Sabyasachi
fashion
lehenga.
industry, Aditi, the whole fashion industry, not only apparel, I'm talking about the whole fashion industry thrives on this. And that's why brands like Chanel and Louis Vuitton and all
Gucci.
Gucci, they thrive. आपको गुची छोटे मोटे मॉल्स में नहीं मिलेगा. आपको गुची खरीदने के लिए दिल्ली में जाना पड़ेगा, बड़े मेट्रो सिटीज में जाना पड़ेगा, अच्छे the top most malls you will go and you will have a boutique store where Gucci will sell. Louis Vuitton will sell only possibly in 3 stores in India. That's what. That's their brand equity. They know their weight. They care who's for Aditi या Saurav Chaudhary या Priyanka. उनको मतलब ही नहीं है कोई. Because उनके स्टोर में आज I don't know how many of you have traveled to Delhi airport or Mumbai airport. Come to Mumbai airport someday, okay, and go into, when you are traveling back, you are walking through from the security to your flight जहाँ से छूटेगी, ठीक है, and the stores across that place, both sides, all expensive brands, the most expensive brands on the world. मुझे तो कभी कभी लगता है ये बंदा कुछ बेचता भी है सारा दिन. हम सोचते हैं कि सारा दिन में 2 लेदर बैग भी बेचता है वो बंदा, लेदर के शॉप पे बैठा हुआ है, इटालियन लेदर का एक ब्रांड नेम वाला कंपनी खोल के बैठा हुआ है, दिन में 2 भी बेचता है. हाउ डज इट थ्राइव? ही हैज टू गिव अ लॉट ऑफ रेंट फॉर दैट स्टोर, उसको मेंटेन करने के लिए खर्चा है, सब कुछ है, लेकिन चलता कैसा है फिर भी. That brand's image itself is so high that even people do not buy there. They will say, "अरे यार मुंबई एयरपोर्ट में हुआ है, फ्रैंकफर्ट एयरपोर्ट में हुआ है, न्यूयॉर्क यूके में हिथ्रो एयरपोर्ट में हुआ है." That's the brand. That's the brand.
And I guess these brands know कि इनके customer हैं कौन.
Absolutely. Absolutely. वो तो हमारे चांदनी चौक के फकीर तो है नहीं कि सर आ जाइए आ जाइए आ जाइए, सर 10 रुपए तो करेंगे नहीं. वो उनके ब्रांड वैल्यू जानते हैं, ब्रांड इक्विटी जानते हैं, सब जानते हैं. वो जानते हैं कि मुझे बेचने के लिए मैं ये स्टोर खोला नहीं हूँ, मुझे दिखाना है इमेज. जो लेने वाला है वो आएगा, वो देखेगा. That's why they are surviving, ना? That means they are selling also. Okay. Co-branding, when 2 or more existing brands are combined into joint products or are marketed together in the same fashion, also called brand bundling or brand alliance. अभी हम लोग बात कर रहे थे थोड़ी देर पहले. McDonald's and Disney, Intel and Lenovo, Intel and HP, and so on and so forth. Okay, there are plenty of them. Plenty of them who have brand co-branding. एक दूसरे के साथ ब्रांड करके बेचते हैं, ठीक है. So interest in co-branding as a means of building brand equity has increased. Many companies now actually go and have a contract with another good company, okay, to co-brand their products so that their brand equity goes up. Okay. I will tell you, once upon a time, Kohinoor was a very strong basmati rice brand. It is still now a very strong basmati rice brand. Unfortunately, आपको सुन के बुरा लगेगा शायद. If you know basmati rice, if you eat basmati rice, possibly your parents would know what is the meaning of Kohinoor. ठीक है. और आपकी जानकारी के लिए कंपनी बंद हो गई. कोहिनूर बासमती और एक साल भी 6 महीने के बाद आपको नहीं मिलेगा. ठीक है. सो एनीवे, सो कोहिनूर बासमती का इतना अच्छा ब्रांड था, वो इतना बड़ा ब्रांड था. कंपनीज लाइक जनरल मिल्स, ठीक है, जो अपना न्यूटेला वगैरह बेचते हैं ना, नहीं न्यूटेला इज फ्रॉम फेडरल, सॉरी, जनरल मिल्स एक्चुअली हमारे पास आया था फॉर देयर, उसका जो आटा है, ठीक है, देयर आटा नेम इज पिल्सबरी आटा. ठीक है, वो आटा बिक नहीं रहा. They came to us so that they bundled that Pillsbury with our rice, basmati rice, and selling the brand. Okay, so atta and chawal together, that co-branding of Kohinoor and Pillsbury, okay, would take their brand to a second level, and they were paying us a huge money for it. Okay, so there are plenty of companies who do it. Co-branding is a very common way of increasing your brand equity. Okay. And yes, they are there. Something even today, like Android based televisions, smart televisions. They use, basically what they do is they use Amazon's Fire Stick, and so they say with an Amazon Fire Stick inside. Even Samsung has started their own channels now. Okay, just like Tata Sky channels and all that. This is Samsung has started their own channels now, and their TV gives you that free option of using their channels, and they have everything from music to movies to news to everything. So everybody's doing co-branding. Everybody's doing co-branding. Brand alliance such as co-branding requires marketers to ask themselves questions such as what capabilities do we do not have. हमारे पास क्या कैपेबिलिटी नहीं है? Ask that question to yourself. What resource constraints do we face? People, time, money. हमारे पास कौन सा resource का constraint है? And what growth goals or revenue needs do we have? What's our objective? What's our goals? What are our business needs? Accordingly, go for the alliance. Okay, so suppose as we were saying, Google and Samsung, Google and Vivo, Google and Oppo, or all these brands, Xiaomi and all. They all have alliance with Google and Android. So why did they have? Because they themselves cannot make that Android platform. They themselves cannot have what Google can do. So they have to have that alliance. And their goal is to sell mobile phone and do a great business. So all these questions they know, they are answering. What is their resources? They do not have the right people to right technology, right people to manufacture such products, such mobile phones which has an Android platform. So they have to buy Android from somebody. They have to buy the cameras from somebody. They have to buy the lenses from somebody. And that's where they do this co-branding. Correct. So when you buy, I don't know, none of you wear specs. Okay, when you go to buy specs, okay, you will find there are glasses like Crizal, there are glasses like Carl Zeiss and all that. And they say, some great brands would say, Carl Zeiss lens makers. So what they are doing? Simply co-branding themselves with Carl Zeiss, which is the world's most expensive expensive lens. So that's what co-branding does for you. Ingredient branding, yes, creates brand equity for material components or parts that are contained with other branded products. So this is another thing which is actually we were talking. अभी तक हम लोग जो बात कर रहे थे, ठीक है? Those were not actually co-branding. The only McDonald's and Disney was a co-branding. Otherwise, rest of them हम लोग जो बात कर रहे थे, Intel Inside. हम लोग लैपटॉप में देखते हैं ना Intel Inside. So that Intel Inside is an ingredient branding. Intel is an ingredient for that laptop. ठीक है, हम लोग बोलते हैं Windows 10 this laptop is with Windows 10 or Windows 11 or Windows 7 XP. Okay, so that's an ingredient branding. That's a part of this laptop. ठीक है, AMD Athlon, कुछ उसमें देखना लिखा रहता है AMD Athlon. That's a motherboard for a computer or a laptop, and that they give a sticker on that laptop. So that's a ingredient branding. Correct.
So
yeah,
there's this mobile phone company, Virtue. I don't know what to pronounce that. Virtue या Virtue. It's a luxury brand. उसका market है इंडिया में?
पता नहीं. I'm not very sure. If they ever communicate with, कम पड़ता है. Where did you see
Like
that
they say
brand?
they have. So we were flexing, these cousins, and we were like, everyone has an iPhone, and यार खरीदना है तो Virtue खरीदना है. It's like it's 2,60,000 some उतने उसके phones आते हैं expensive.
Okay.
And I guess Deepika Padukone carries that phone. She's the only actress. So these companies, they don't really exist in India, right?
I don't think so. I have not heard about it. Possibly not. Yeah. So yeah, it reminds me of a new thing which I ate recently. Not a new thing. I ate it earlier also. Have you heard about this brand called Belgian waffles? Right? Varanasi में आया Belgian waffles.
Yes, that's favorite.
Okay. So I ate.
चला begin.
हाँ.
नहीं, अभी दूसरा outlet खुल रहा है.
अच्छा. So Belgian waffles. I ate waffles earlier when I used to go to Europe and other countries. But India में जब Belgian waffle आया, then I suddenly realized that they actually do ingredient branding. They have a waffle which has Nutella inside, and they sell it very highly. And they say waffle Nutella something. The brand says Nutella something. Okay. So that's ingredient branding. अंदर में Nutella है. Okay. So and many companies they do ingredient branding like Cadbury's Oreo. Oreo is a Cadbury's product itself. Like in Cadbury's Silk Oreo. So they are doing that ingredient branding, Oreo inside. Okay. You will go to ice cream parlors where they use Oreo, and they will say, something like, I ate this brand recently.
McDonald's had a brand.
Yes, McDonald's has.
McFlurry.
McFlurry has Oreo. Okay. So these are all ingredient brandings. Okay. So whichever brand is less known, he gets the benefit of the brand equity of the other. Okay. Licensing creates contractual arrangement whereby firms can use names, logos, characters of other brands to market their own brands for some fixed fee. Can also provide legal protection for the trademark. So something like, when a company doesn't want to come and, sell their products sitting in that same country, what they do is they give their license to franchisees. They're called franchisees. Okay. So that those franchisees use the names, logos, everything. So all the McDonald's, all the Domino's, all the KFCs, all the Pizza Huts, they are not Pizza Hut, KFC. They are from Pepsi side. Okay. So they are a company called Yum Foods. Okay. So Yum Foods gives license to there are two companies who have taken license of McDonald's. I don't remember the name. Domino's ka to Devyani Foods. Okay. So they are the franchisees. They have taken the license from Domino's, and Domino's has given them the right to use their name, logo, characters, everything. And they have opened their shops across the country. And what is the benefit here? And of course, they are legally, their logos are legally protected. They do not have to spend new money for R&D and etc. They have got ready-made products, recipes, and all from the big companies. And second very important thing is, because they get the license to use McDonald's or Domino's or Pizza Hut or even Starbucks. Starbucks that way is a franchise in India with Tata's, right? Tata's got Starbucks. So Tata's have taken the Starbucks franchisee, and they can use the name, logo, character. So what happens is that name, logo, characters has a legal protection. Okay, and what Tata gives is a royalty to Starbucks. Correct. And second very important thing, what happens is Tatas do not have to spend money to create that brand equity again. Because already Starbucks is a big name, McDonald's is a big name, KFC is a big name. उसके पीछे मुझे मार्केट क्रिएट करने का पैसा खर्चा नहीं करना. I have to only run the store well. And of course, we have these people have big brand names behind. So of course, they are already sure about the business. That's the greatness about license. You do not have to reinvent the wheels. You do not have to do your own R&D. You do not have to do your own promotions. Yeah, tell me.
So what is the difference between mergers and acquisitions and franchisees?
Mergers acquisitions is between two companies. One company buying the other. It's pure buying. ठीक है, टाटा ने जागुआर को खरीदा, कंपनी को ही खरीद लिया. करेक्ट. फेसबुक ने व्हाट्सएप को खरीदा, कंपनी को ही खरीद लिया. ब्रांड अपने वॉलमार्ट ने फ्लिपकार्ट को खरीदा. करेक्ट. टाटास ने ग्रोफर्स को खरीदा, नहीं सॉरी बिग बास्केट को खरीदा. So already these are all mergers and acquisitions. They have acquired them. And licensing is you have not sold the company. You have just given the license, the authority to use your logo, name, brand name, everything. And that person is selling your product there. They cannot sell any other product. They have a contract that you have to sell only McDonald's in your store. You have to only use McDonald's logo, McDonald's brand name in your store. You have to make the store according to McDonald's specification. I am not giving you the right. I have not sold you the company. I have only given you the right to use my logo and my know-how of making the recipe, etc., etc., etc. And what are you going to give me? You're going to give me a licensing fee. So all the QSRs in this quick sales restaurants, across the world run on this formula. Starbucks originates from one corner of US, McDonald's originates from one corner of US, Pizza Hut originates from Pepsi, Domino's originates from Coke, and so on and so forth. And they have given franchises across the country.
जैसे टाटा ने बिग बास्केट को खरीदा, but
so
Starbucks के साथ
licensing. So they have to give a part of their earnings as a licensing fee or royalty to the organization. Royalty to use their names, logos, etc., and a licensing fee because they are using it. Correct? Got it? So licensing, one danger in licensing is manufacturers can get caught up in licensing a brand that might be popular at the moment, but is only a fad. Many may produce short-lived sales. So the thing is that there are plenty of companies who want to appoint franchisees. The risk is नए time पे आपने franchisee appoint तो कर दिया, लेकिन if you are not a McDonald's or a Pizza Hut or a Domino's, the risk is that the product may not sell in the long run. Currently, जैसे Belgian waffle के जितने भी stores हैं, they are all franchise stores. Okay. Suppose अभी waffle is a fad or a trend in India. कल के दिन में वो फैट चला गया, it's a short lived, 2 साल 3 साल के बाद वो फैट चला गया, people are not liking waffles anymore. What happens to that? What happens to that manufacturer or that store? Correct. Corporate trademark licensing of companies, names, logos, brands, okay, for use on various often unrelated products. So you have given the license to use your name, logo, brand. Sometimes people do manipulation. They start using those logos, brands in some other unrelated products. And third very important risk which is there is firms may license corporate trademark to generate extra revenue and profit, protect their trademark, increase their brand exposure, enhance their image. And the risk would be product may not live up to the reputation established. Inappropriate licensing can delete brand meaning. Consumers don't care about the financial arrangements behind a particular product or service. If the brand is used, the brand promise must be held. So आज अगर आप एक McDonald's में जा रहे हो, और उस ब्रांड उस प्रोडक्ट को वहां पर खाने के बाद आपको लगा कि इट्स नॉट अप टू द मार्क, नाम किसका खराब होगा? मैकडोनल्ड्स का खराब होगा, उस फ्रेंचाइजी का तो नहीं होगा। दैट्स द बिगेस्ट रिस्क। ठीक है, थर्ड यहाँ पर एक रिस्क दिया नहीं है, विच इज अ वेरी वेरी कॉमन रिस्क। एक बंदे ने मैकडोनल्ड्स का अभी भी हुआ था, मैकडोनल्ड्स का साथ अभी भी हुआ था, उसका फ्रेंचाइजी जो दिया था, इंडिया में 2 फ्रेंचाइजीज थे, एक नॉर्थ एंड वेस्ट के लिए, ईस्ट के लिए, एक साउथ एंड वेस्ट के लिए। उसमें से एक फ्रेंचाइजी, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग हिज नेम, who was handling west and north, that guy raised his hand up कि मुझे इतना परसेंटेज ज्यादा दो, इतना मार्जिन दो, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, then he will work, etc. He started, negotiating bad terms, and then McDonald's said we are going to stop the business with you. We are withdrawing the license. सारा कंट्री में मैकडोनल्ड्स बंद हो गया था 2 साल पहले, माने on the
Where
western
this happened, sir?
north and Delhi में there were almost 99 stores which sold. Now what can happen is, if this party, franchisee party, is strong, tomorrow he can say that forget it, I'm not going to take the McDonald's franchisee. मुझे आज तो बनाना आ गया कैसे बर्गर बनता है, I know how to make burgers now, I have known your recipes, everything. I will start making my product and selling. What happens to McDonald's? If that franchisee is really big, he has huge money, he can actually, take your, he can actually capture your business by manufacturing a similar product, same quality, similar product. Yeah, बोलो.
राइट सर, जो भी फ्रेंचाइजी दे रहा होता है उसकी ब्रांड इक्विटी इतनी ज्यादा स्ट्रांग ऑलरेडी होती है दैट देयर इज अ वेरी स्लाइट पॉसिबिलिटी दैट समवन कैन ओवरटेक, राइट?
नहीं, they can't overtake, but they can slowly capture their market. आज ठीक है, आज मैकडोनल्ड्स के नाम पे उसका स्टोर चल रहा है, मैकडोनल्ड्स इज टू बिग अब रहा है, लेकिन वैसे छोटे फ्रेंचाइजीज बहुत सारे हैं। आज अगर कंट्री में सैंडविच पार्लर्स देखोगे ना, मोस्ट ऑफ द सैंडविच पार्लर्स आर ऑल फ्रेंचाइज। क्या 1 साल चलाया, 13th month से बोला आपका फ्रेंचाइजी नहीं चाहिए मुझे, he starts making his own sandwiches, he knows the quality, he knows the recipe, he knows everything. He actually can add value and start making his own brand.
So,
and that's
sir, the company can sue ना, जैसे डोमिनोज जो था, अभी अचानक जो अपने पिज्जा बनाते हैं वो दिखाने लगा है अपने काउंटर्स के साइड में कैसे बनते हैं। तो सर कॉपीराइट से तो आप स्यू कर सकते हो ना, अगर आप किसी की रेसिपी अगर यू आर टेकिंग दैट एंटायरली।
फूड प्रोडक्ट इज सच ए थिंग ना, ट्विकिंग रेसिपी इज नॉट अ बिग डील। ठीक है, आप बोलोगे मैं कॉपी तो कर नहीं रहा हूं, मैं अपने तरीके से बना, उसमें थोड़ा सा ट्वीक कर दिया, बोला नहीं। Particularly when you are selling live products, not packaged product, live product. आप डोसा बना रहे हो, इडली बना रहे हो, similarly live products, पिज्जा बना रहे हो, बर्गर्स बना रहे हो, फ्रेंच फ्राइज बना रहे हो, चिकन फ्राइज बना रहे हो। There are plenty of chicken fry stores, right? KFC जैसा। Across the country there are 1,000 more brands. सबको ही आजकल चिकन फ्राई बनाता है। Who will sue whom? आपको रेसिपी सीखने से मतलब है कल मैं अपना बिजनेस करूं, आपको क्वालिटी सीखने से मतलब है आप कल मैं अपना बिजनेस करूं। Even in normal packaged products, there is often a risk that if your supplier is huge supplier, a very very big supplier, they can screw you up with saying that आपको ingredient supply नहीं करूंगा, या तो they can also come back and make similar products like yours and start getting into your market. At the same time, your intermediaries, your distributors, if they are too big, if they are too big, they can tomorrow say, I'm not going to distribute your product, because by that time they know your market, they know your customers. They will manufacture a similar product and come into the market and take your market. That's another risk. It's possible. That happens. Often it happens.
And sir, how does these stores like Shopper Stop work? जिनके पास Shopper Stop is a brand, इसके अंदर बहुत सारे सब ब्रांड्स होते हैं।
They're aggregators.
How do they actually?
they are something like Amazon. They sell all brands. Okay, so what they do is they procure brands. वो कल जाएंगे Levi's को बोलेंगे मेरे को आपसे खरीदना है, वो कल जाएंगे अरविंद मेंस को बोलेंगे मुझे वैनिसन की शर्ट्स आपसे खरीदने हैं, वो कल जाएंगे ब्लैकबेरी को बोलेंगे मुझे आपके ट्राउजर्स आपसे खरीदने हैं, वो कल जाएंगे साउथ में 4 स्टोर को बोले 4 रिटेलर्स को या 4 मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को बोलेंगे मुझे कांजीवरम साड़ी आपसे खरीदना है, ठीक है, they will buy in bulk. Something like Big Bazaar or more or Spencer or Reliance Supermart. Whatever they buy, they will buy bulk. So they get huge discounts on that. कल हम लोग बात कर रहे थे ना cash conversion cycle की. So they buy in a huge quantity and get great discounts. And they pass that discount. So कभी-कभी ऐसा भी होता है नॉर्मल रिटेल में जाओगे जो प्राइस है पैंटालून्स में जाओ शॉपर स्टॉप में जाओ ब्रांड फैक्ट्री में जाओ उससे भी 30% नीचे मिलता है. And still they make profit because still they have margins. And why these companies give them margin? Because intermediary नहीं है. मेरा cost of manufacturing जो भी है उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा percentage लगाओ which makes my it makes my business a viable business. My opportunity cost is covered. मैं बैंक में जो 12% मिलता था उससे यहाँ पर मुझे 18% मिल रहा है. I'm happy. बाकी का जो मार्जिन है सारा दे दो शॉपर स्टॉप को या पैंटालून्स को. Let them sell for me. They have a bigger brand name. They are all aggregators. जैसे कि आपका Amazon हो गया, Myntra हो गया, सारी जगह से खरीदते हैं वैसे ही शॉपर स्टॉप में. The physical stores, they are virtual stores. Correct. Got it. Celebrity endorsement. Again, वही हो गया. Influencer, celebrity, using well-known and admired people to promote your product. Widespread phenomena with a long marketing history. Okay. ये तो सालों से चल रहा है. Possibly 100 years old phenomenon. Celebrity को लेके आओ. If he smokes a Dunhill, then Dunhill will sell well. If he wears a, Louis Vuitton will sell well. Whatever. Rational, a famous person can draw attention to a brand, shape brand perceptions by virtue of consumers' perception of the famous person. Because people like you and me, we associate the brand with the perception of that famous person. We associate that brand with Deepika Padukone's perception.
These
Yes.
celebrities have started their own lines, sir. Like Anushka wrong, Virat. Anushka no, Virat wrong.
Anushka को Salman Khan being human.
Being human.
Idiot. जिंदगी में human काम तो कुछ किया नहीं है. फिर भी being human का एक ब्रांड निकाल दिया. जाके 10 लेबर को मार डाला और फिर being human. ठीक है, जाके वो राजस्थान में क्या था वो
Black buck
मारा था फिर being human. These are all.
yes sir by being human की.
हाँ वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. So these are all nonsense. ठीक है. So anyway, still we say अरे यार सलमान खान है, अरे यार शाहरुख खान है. We associate their branding, their personal branding to our brand. We create a perception around them. And then we associate that perception with our brand. Okay. So celebrity endeavor should have high level of visibility, rich set of potentially useful association, judgment, and feeling. Okay. Potential problem: celebrity endorsers can endorse so many products that they lack any specific product. आज अमिताभ बच्चन वो नवरत्न तेल का भी एडवर्टाइजमेंट कर रहा है. ठीक है, मालिश कर लो नवरत्न तेल का.
बोरोप्लस
और बोरोप्लस भी कर रहा है और डाबर का च्यवनप्राश भी कर रहा है.
मुथूट फाइनेंस
50 ब्रांड्स कर रहा है. You totally get confused. Actually, वो खुद क्या यूज करता है, and you lose your trust and confidence in such products. हाँ, only thing is that this whole advertising world works on probability, theory of probability. कि 1.3 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन है, उसमें से 30 करोड़ अगर चिल्ड्रन छोड़ भी दो, 1 करोड़ sorry 1.3 billion, 130 crore पॉपुलेशन है, 30 crore निकाल दो बच्चों का, बाकी 100 crore जो पॉपुलेशन है ना, उसमें से थियोरी ऑफ प्रोबेबिलिटी बोलता है कि चलो 10% तो अमिताभ बच्चन के नाम से खरीदेंगे, बाकी 90% आपके और मेरे जैसा गाड़ी दे उसको, 10% तो घूम फिर के अमिताभ बच्चन के फेस देख के खरीदेगा, शाहरुख खान के फेस देख के खरीदेगा, फेस देख and the companies thrive on that one. Companies do not expect कि अमिताभ बच्चन आ गया इसलिए 100% पॉपुलेशन पे कट देगा, क्योंकि 100% में 90% पॉपुलेशन आपके और मेरे जैसा है जो ट्रस्ट दीज पीपल. So we know very well that these people, and more so because we are learned marketers, हम लोग जानते हैं कि these people will never, they will endorse my product because I have given him money. They will never even use my product.
So these companies like Dove and मैं Dove ही बता रही हूँ, जो कि sachets लाते हैं, they like was it for consumer viability कि ठीक है वो 1-1.5 रुपए का ही शैम्पू खरीद पाएगा, or do they actually make profit, or there's another line?
Sachet known as LUPs, low unit packs. The fundamental of sachet is, first of all, it's a sampling pack. Okay. क्यों? Because you will use Dove. The preliminary fundamental was it was used as a sampling pack. People will come, buy it, use it, try it. If they like it, they will go and buy a bigger pack. That's why जब initially sachets आए थे तो 1 रुपए के sachets. Okay. And the fundamental was जितना छोटा पैक होगा उसका प्राइस उतना ज्यादा होना चाहिए, जितना बड़ा होगा उतना कम होना चाहिए. लेकिन it's just the opposite. आज के दिन में it's just the opposite. छोटा पैक actually per milliliter or per gram costs more than the larger packs. So what happens now is that people buy these as portion packs. यार एक साथ मैं 700 ml नहीं खरीदूंगा या 300 ml नहीं खरीदूंगा, मुझे महीने में 5 जरूरत है, मैं 5 खरीदूंगा because I don't have to invest money. The fundamental of LUP initially, low unit pack initially, was to give it a trial pack. और आप सैम्पलिंग करोगे, किसी को सैंपल बांटोगे, you give those packs. So cost wise company will save some money because small unit packs 10 ml 20 ml के बनाने का खर्चा कम, पैकेजिंग मटेरियल का खर्चा कम, because they are given in sachets, so the cost becomes lower. लेकिन धीरे धीरे ऐसा हो गया, people were using it as a regular pack. The whole market dynamics changed. They become an actual selling pack now. आप कहीं they became a travel.
Nescafe का brew आता है.
Right. Nescafe का जो sachet आता है, brew का sachet आता है, those have become travelers pack now. Those have become convenient packs now. So the basic fundamental of sampling has gone. लोग नया इस sachet को use करके देखेंगे कैसा है, वो fundamentally चला. This has become another line of SKU. SKU is stock keeping unit, which is the highest stock keeping unit. सबसे ज्यादा बिकता है. ठीक है, जो different packagings होता है ना, different size, different packs, those are called stock keeping units, SKUs. You should know in marketing, you should use this word. If anybody says that how many SKUs are there, then you should be able to say, so 15 gram, 20 gram, 20 gram sachets, something like that. 200 gram sachets, 200 gram packet, 200 gram bottle, there are 20 SKUs. Different sizes, different packaging, are called SKUs. So this particular SKU of sachet pack, where actually fundamentally they were supposed to use as sampling packs. So आज के दिन में धीरे-धीरे in the last 20 years, it has changed. Another selling SKU, which is a very high selling SKU. आज किसी भी दुकान में जिसके पास शैम्पू के सैचेट है और फिर शैम्पू के बॉटल्स भी है, उसको जाके पूछो, ही से सर सैचेट ज्यादा बिकता है. Because there are two reasons. One is you have given the choice to a consumer to use a smaller pack and spend less. And second very important thing is, in a country like us, low income would be so high, they cannot afford bigger packs. They would also like to live like a higher income person. They would also like to use a shampoo instead of a Rita, जो हमारे बचपन में हमारी माँ शायद यूज करती थी. ठीक है, these people today they would also like to use a Dove shampoo, which is one of the most expensive shampoo. They cannot buy a full pack of 300 ml, that would cost her 250 rupees. So she would go and buy a small sachet, use it, and she would feel that yes, I am using वो बड़े घर वालों को जैसे मैं use कर रहा हूँ. That's consumer behavior.
So I've read somewhere कि जो like जो फाइनेंशियली नहीं सही होते हैं, like जो स्लम्स वगैरह में रहते हैं, वो मैक्सिमम दे बाय दीज सैशे पैक्स इन अ बल्क
Yeah.
एंड काफी ज्यादा सेल होती है इन सब की, तो मोस्टली
They
यही
either
ज्यादा
buy
करते
it
हैं.
in a bulk or they buy it regularly. जब भी
हम्म.
जरूरत पड़ता है जाओ 3 उठा लो, फैमिली के लिए 5 उठा लो, जो भी है. They do not have to buy a 250 rupees bottle. Right? Actually, that bottle, they have also become intelligent. They know that sachet pack is lesser price than a bottle. जो होना नहीं चाहिए. Sachet pack is a smaller pack, को ज्यादा प्राइस होना चाहिए. लेकिन उल्टा है, सैचेट पैक एक्चुअली आप कैलकुलेट करके देखना ये कितना ml है और कितने का पड़ता है. You see that a bottle price is much higher.
Back when we was a kids, we used to do this. जो 20 rupees वाला लेज आता है, we didn't used to buy that. 5 का हम 4 ले लेंगे.
Yes. The same for that. So potential problems celebrity endorsers can, and this is a case history for a blue ocean strategy. First time जब sachet pack आया था, this was a company called Kevin Care. ठीक है. So Kevin Care के जो sachets थे आज भी मिलते हैं. So they were the first sachets for any personal care product, okay, in the Indian market. So they changed the packaging world actually. And today every company has sachets. So they had that unique product, unique packaging. They created that market. They expanded the market, and then they slowly went into the red ocean. जहाँ पर competitors everybody came and started making sachets. So celebrity endorsers can endorse so many products that they lack any specific product meaning or are seen as opportunistic or insincere. जैसे मैंने आपको बोला, अमिताभ बच्चन और शाहरुख खान, we feel that they are insincere. कुछ भी करते हैं. आजकल के तो लोग बोलते हैं अमिताभ बच्चन का हो क्या गया, कुछ भी जाके एडवर्टाइजमेंट कर देता है, उसका अपना डिग्निटी चला गया. Must be a reasonable match between celebrity and product. ठीक है. Celebrity endorsers can get in trouble or lose popularity. Yes, something like we were discussing the other day, right? Shah Rukh Khan. He's an endorser to so many products. Recently, buy juice and everything. Right? The day his son got caught by police for drugs, think about his image when he would have gone and endorsed buy juice. There are children. Children's parents, would they ever respect Shah Rukh Khan to come and buy juice and no more? So that's the risk. They lose popularity very easily if there is any kind of wrong that they do. In fact, जब वर्ल्ड कप में जब इंडिया हार गई थी इतनी बुरी तरह इस बार, ठीक है, so the brand equity of अपना हीरो Virat Kohli was so bad that some companies actually thought of taking it out of their advertisements. And it happens very, very commonly. It happens. Very, very commonly these things happen in the world. Rapid social influence as the new celebrity. So influencers we know, right? Influencer marketing, social media celebrities for advertising brand names, also non-celebrities or micro-influencers who have considerable sway on social media. There is this community called micro-influencers. Okay, they are growing in a way, they charge less price, but they have a huge clout on a local population, on a very captive audience. They are not celebrities. They are not great, Shah Rukh Khans or Amitabh Bachchans. They are people who are being followed by a particular captive audience, and they are very strong. Just give me 1 second. Okay, sporting culture or other events is very common. Sports actually is the most lucrative event to sponsor to get your audience. Think about crores, billions of rupees has been spent on World Cup football, World Cup cricket, IPL. IPL has become a festival. Have you ever, any of you ever gone to a stadium to watch IPL? I had been there twice, but a couple of years back, 2-3 years back, twice or thrice. Trust me, it's a festival. It's a festival. कुछ भी हाँ वहां पर लोग they get entertained. पहले के जमाने में हम लोग टेस्ट मैच देखने जाते थे या वनडे देखने जाते थे तो ठीक है, we used to go and get entertained by the cricket. Today that has become such a festival place, festive mood. Gana, bajana, khana, everything around. And then brand endorsements. Sab kuch, starting from Tatas to the Billas to everybody will sponsor. Everybody wants to get exposed to that huge festive crowd. Think about the kind of advertising spends on the TV during those sports events. Talking about Olympics, World Cup, IPL, ISL, whatever. Even tennis like Wimbledon. Think about the spends on the celebrity sports people. Spends on people like Ronaldo and Messi and millions of kuch bhi hai. They get more from endorsement than from their own club's person. Think about Dhoni, think about Sachin Tendulkar, think about all these cricketers in India. Right? Contribute to brand equity, becoming an associate to the brand and improving brand awareness. Adding new associations, improving the strength, favorability, and uniqueness of existing brand. Okay. And not only sports event, I'm talking about a lot of other events. As all these reality shows in the TV. Any Tom, Dick and Harry coming on the reality show and uska sponsorship dekho. People get glued to those kind of TV channels.
MTV, sir.
And I will tell you, this trend is going to shift to OTT now. Okay. OTT में जैसे सीरीज होते हैं ओरिजिनल सीरीज वैसे ही ओरिजिनल these ये रियलिटी शोज आ गए.
There is already, sir.
आ गया ना?
हाँ आ चुका है नेटफ्लिक्स पे.
तो देखो
रियलिटी शो
ये बिग बॉस वगैरह सारे उधर चलेंगे धीरे धीरे.
बिग बॉस भी ओटीटी आ गया इस साल. ओटीटी बिग बॉस एज वेल और टीवी वाला कलर्स वाला भी.
वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ. So there's a huge money all around this, huge money. Third-party sources, marketers can create secondary association in a number of different ways by linking the brand to various third-party sources. The third-party sources can be especially credible sources. Marketers often feature them in advertising campaigns and selling efforts. Okay, so now, what's a third-party source? A third-party source is basically somebody who's going to be your advocate. Somebody who's going to be your advocate. So, आपने एक brand बनाया, ठीक है? So, you possibly will do not have money to, promote yourselves to that extent. So, what you do is you ride on somebody else's shoulder to promote yourself. Okay, simple example would be. I've got some examples. Just give me a second. Try and pick them out somewhere. If I remember correctly, yeah. How many of you know? Possibly you guys know. CRISIL rating bolte hain. Have you heard about this word, CRISIL rating? There's a company called CRISIL who rates different organizations. का जो आप investment करते हो, mutual fund investment and all that, CRISIL will give a rating A++, A+. फिर there
वो
is a
क्रिसिल इकरा वाला
इकरा भी है, क्रिसिल भी है. क्रिसिल is more favored actually. ठीक है. Then suppose there is a company called JD Power who rates automobiles. ठीक है. So अगर JD Power ने बोल दिया कि ये गाड़ी अच्छा है, if JD Power rates you great, then your car is a great car. If CRISIL rates you great, your product is a great car. Okay. So similarly, there are a lot of companies who give you rating. They are third parties. So you can ride on their shoulder, and they will give you that branding. You do not have to work much.
Sir, ISI is the same thing.
ISI, I mean, ISI उतना नहीं है. पता है, ISI is a standard. ISI is a standard. It is standard for any commodity or any product. Okay. So suppose you are making switches. Okay. So or you are making plug points, or you are making water. Okay. कि मैं filtered bottled water बनाऊंगा. So Government of India has made a organization which actually certifies that your product is as per the standards. Okay. So ISI is a ISI जो logo है, that basically gives you that standard of that particular product. So मेरा switches, मेरा bottled water, मेरा cold drink, या कुछ भी है. So उसका हर एक product का there is a standard. And the company before launching the product in the market should get certified by ISI. So in fact, ISI's name has also got changed. It's now named as, just a second, I'll find it now. Bureau of Standards BS, BFSI. Let me check. Bureau of India Standard, BIS. अभी नाम change हो गया, it's BIS now. The logo remains same, IS, लेकिन the organization's name has become Bureau of Indian Standards. Okay. So Bureau of Indian Standards is a regular standard. अगर ISI marked हो, if the product is ISI marked, people already have a lot of trust in that. Okay, because it's certified by the Government of India that it falls under a particular standard. Okay. There is also something called FSSAI. Okay. For food safety and security. Now that's also very important today. आपका product FSSAI, हर एक food product के पीछे देखोगे FSSAI logo रहता है. ठीक है. So that's also a third party. It's a government third party. ISI जैसे BIS is a government third party. Now if they certify your product, you can be sure that this product has a basic quality. Similarly, JD Power ने certify कर दिया, this car which is come new in the market has this much of safety standards and all that. So you already know this. So these are all third-party sources where you can associate your product. Okay. So that's it for today. I think we have taken a very good chapter today. Okay. So any questions? I wanted to actually finish. If I could have finished. It's not a very good chapter. I just did 22 slides. Only thing that I took a long time to give examples and try to make it as interesting as possible. Because we are talking about brands, so we should understand how these brands become brands. Okay, so interesting. Did you get some knowledge? Anything that was new for you?
Yes, sir. बहुत basic चीज मेरे को नहीं पता था सफारी टाटा की है. I was like shit, सफारी Tatas. Yeah.
Anything new that you learned today? प्रियांशु, आपको कुछ भी लगा कि जो हम पहली बार सुन रहे हैं इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है?
तो यही नहीं पता था मुझे क्या ISI का भी नाम मतलब बदल गया है क्योंकि री तो रेगुलर चीज है. And
so these all help a brand to become a brand. ठीक है. When we say ना, हम लोग जब पहले याद है बात करते थे unbranded product, local product, and brands, दोनों में difference क्या है? These are the differences. Unbranded products will never get. पहला तो है उसका नाम ही नहीं होगा. अगर नाम भी होगा तो it's communication नहीं होगा उस नाम का, किसी को पता नहीं होगा. ठीक है. Sometimes you go to a local store, उसने अपना एक brand बना के रखा है. प्लास्टिक के पैकेट में पैक किया, उस पैकेट में छप्पा मार दिया, ब्रांड हो गया. That's also a brand. Again, until the brand gets communicated to the target audience, it doesn't become a brand, right? You know Louis Vuitton or Chanel or Gucci because they have communicated you somehow. कहीं ना कहीं से communication आपको तक पहुंचा है. It's a premium luxury fashion brand. That's what a brand is. And all these things what we learned today, the secondary association helps the brand to become a brand. Otherwise नहीं हो. Otherwise वो ठेले वाला जो नींबू का रस, नींबू पानी पिलाता है उसमें, और नींबूज जो पेप्सी बनाता है, दोनों में फर्क नहीं होता. करेक्ट? गॉट इट?
Yes.
मेक सेंस? अभी लग रहा है ब्रांड मैनेजमेंट में जाऊं, जाके नया ब्रांड बनाऊं, ठीक है, एक ब्रांड एस्टैब्लिश करूं मैगी जैसा, जो 40 साल से कोई किसी ने हरा नहीं पाया.
नहीं सर, मैं रेड ओशन में जाऊंगी जिसमें एक अलग न्यू लाइन रहे, कंपटीशन नहीं चाहिए, पॉइंट ऑफ पैरिटी नहीं चाहिए.
किसमें जाओगी?
रेड ओशन या ब्लू ओशन,
Red-
जिसमें नया करते
ब्लू
हैं.
ओशन. ब्लू ओशन. हाँ, वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. तो मैगी भी एक टाइम जब आया था वो ब्लू ओशन में था ना.
सर वो
After-
अलग था, उसकी तरह नहीं बन सकता कोई भी.
किसने बोला नहीं? किसी ने किसी तो बनाया होगा ना उसको. टाटा टी को किसी ने ना किसी ने तो बनाया होगा ना. आज अगर लोग चाय के नाम लेते हैं तो टाटा टी बोलते हैं. किसी ने ना किसी ने बनाया होगा. And I will tell you who made it. A lady who was my boss, संगीता तलवार. Go and read a book. Go and read a book. Very सस्ते का बुक है, 199 रुपीज अमेजोन में मिल जाएगा. 2 minute revolution करके.
Wow.
ठीक है. She was my boss when we launched Maggie together. She was the marketing head for Maggie. ठीक है. A beautiful lady, a model actually. She was a lady whom हम लोग जिसको model बोलते थे. She was so beautiful, and she was a gem. She was from IIM Calcutta. Yeah. She was a gem of her. She handled Maggie. She made Maggie what Maggie is today. She made Tata Tea what Tata Tea is today. She made Mother Dairy what Mother Dairy is today. So all those played a role.
There's this question. You have seen all these people, no? You have all worked with all of them. Are they really exceptional, or they are, just common people and, with great ideas, and they
So
are ready to implement?
They are common people. Of course, they are common people. Yeah. However, they have used their knowledge in the very, very right direction. So, अगर IIM कलकत्ता से मैंने पढ़ के आया होगा तो IIM कलकत्ता में पढ़ाई तो किया ही है, अच्छा, लेकिन उस पढ़ाई को फील्ड में आके उसको काम पे भी लगाया है. So ideas come from knowledge, ना? Ideas won't come if you don't have knowledge, right? So पहले तो उसको knowledge चाहिए. So she got that knowledge, and then she came and dedicatedly worked and learned, and then could produce all those what she did. And of course, she was a very, very smart lady, charismatic lady, and she was as beautiful as any man can ever think of. And she was a very nice spoken. वो जब podium में खड़ी होती थी and she used to give her speeches, हम लोग सब सुनते थे उसको. And we never, माने ऐसी boss थी वो, we never minded कि वो अपनी boss थी, हमारे boss थे. We used to love working for her. So these are people. There's somebody like Ajay Singh Banga. He was my boss, my first boss actually in Nestle. Ajay Singh Banga is today the world's one of the 7 top US Indian CEOs. I mean, he was a CEO just like Sundar Pichai and Nadella. He was the CEO and chairman of Mastercards. He's now he's the honorary chairman of Mastercards. He was my first boss. The youngest ever zonal head of any consumer company in India. When he came as my boss, he was 32 years old. He was an IIT, IIM guy. Yeah. Young Sardar. उस लेवल पे जब मेरे पास आया, अपने बॉस कंधे में हाथ डाल के बात करता था. ड्रामेटिक कैरेक्टर. अभी भी हम लोग कुछ 6 महीने पहले we spoke to him. He stays in US now. So we had alumni, Nestle alumni meet बनाए थे हम लोग. तो Zoom में सब मिले थे, तो उनको भी हम लोग इनवाइट किया था. He came. So these are people, you know, who are charismatic people. They are leaders in the true sense. They have so much of originality in them. ठीक है, हम लोग IQ, EQ सुने हैं ना, IQ, ठीक है, emotional quotient, intelligent quotient. He has recently given a new word in this world of management called DQ, decency quotient. He says that if you are this person, hello, हाँ, so that's what. So he says that as you grow in an organization, so he says that as you grow in an organization, you should have a decency. You should have an outlook of decency for your employees. He never think that employee is just an employee. उसको काम कराने से मत करो. If your employee's family is in trouble, the first thing that you do is go and help him out of the trouble. Don't think that मेरा employee है, ये तो काम कर रहा है, ये नौकर है इसका. So he created this new fundamental of DQ. आप इसको Google करके देखो, बहुत कुछ मिलेगा उसमें. Again, he says actually, why decency quotient will take you as a leader to a different height. So exceptional people, and I'm very fortunate to have worked with these kind of people. And possibly जो भी सीखा हूँ उनके पास ही सीखा. So many stories with these people. And मुझे याद है, I was very young when this gentleman came to our branch. And 32 years old, जैसे मैंने बोला, young charming guy, एकदम पूरा जैसे सरदार यूजुअली होता है ना, बहुत हंसी मजाक में वैसे. लेकिन IIT IIM बैकग्राउंड वाला बंदा. तो एक बार मैं बहुत ट्रबल में था एक्चुअली. मेरा एक प्रोडक्ट बिक नहीं रहा था, और फूड प्रोडक्ट है तो पुराने होते जाते हैं तो एक्सपायर होने का चांस होता है. इट वाज अ कॉस्टली प्रोडक्ट. वन पैकेट इज कॉस्ट अराउंड 12 rupees in those days. I about 30 years back. 100 rupees in those days, 30 years back, and I had 12 pieces of them lying with me for some 6 months से वही चल रहा है. Opening stock 12 pieces, closing stock 12 pieces. एक पीस बिकता है. It was really a हर मंथ एंड मीटिंग में मुझे गाली पड़ती थी, क्या कर रहे हो, एक पीस भी नहीं बेच पाते हो. वो मेरा बॉस मुझे डांटता था. नाउ दिस gentleman came, he was the head of our branch. मार्केट विजिट में आया था, तो चलो सब मार्केट विजिट अच्छा हुआ. मेरे कंपनी में आया था, बोला सर बोल क्या प्रॉब्लम है तेरे को. तो मैंने उसको बोला बॉस एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. बॉस मेरे पास 12 पीसेस का ये पड़ा हुआ है, 6 महीने से पड़ा हुआ है, हर मंथ मुझे गाली पड़ती है. इसमें इतना बड़ा क्या प्रॉब्लम है. क्या सर क्या हो गया. बोला तू किसी प्राइस में बेच नहीं सकता. एंड 100 रुपीज वाला प्राइस उस जमाने में 35 years पहले की बात है. तो मुझे यू कांट सेल इट एट एनी प्राइस. मैं बोला नहीं सर, बिक तो जाएगा, 20-25 रुपए में बिक जाएगा. वो भी हिम्मत चाहिए, बड़े साहब को बोल रहा हूँ मैं 20-25 रुपए में बिक जाएगा 100 रुपए वाला प्रोडक्ट. उसने मेरे तरफ देखा, तो इसमें पूछने की क्या बात, पहले जाके बेच गया. ठीक है, उसके बाद आके मुझे बताना कि मैंने बेच दिया सर, 75 रुपए की पर पीस लॉस हुई. कितना लॉस करेगा? 900 रुपया ना, 12 and then the next sentence that he used, then I realized that a leader is a leader is a leader. Next sentence he said, for an organization of, उस टाइम हमारा नेस्ले का टर्नओवर था 1000 crores, आज 12,000 crores है, उस टाइम 1000 crores था. तो उसने बोला था, for an organization of 1000 crores 900 rupees doesn't make any sense. Don't worry, go and sell at whatever price you want to sell. That's what decision making is all about. सच्ची में 1000 crore की कंपनी में 900 रुपया का क्या फर्क पड़ता है? बोला तू बेच के आ जा, that's your trouble, that's your problem, get that problem out first and then come and say that I have made a loss of 900 rupees. Doesn't make a big difference to the company. I remember the first meeting with him. I was very young. He was the head of Nescafe. आज का जो Nescafe दिखता है ना, पहले Nescafe ऐसा नहीं था, पता है? आप तो देखिए होंगे. तो 40 साल पहले Nescafe was powder, absolute powder. आज का Nescafe थोड़ा सा दिखता है granulated. So this granulated Nescafe he was the person who brought it in India. He was the head of Nescafe. तो हम जब नेस्ले जस्ट नए नए ज्वाइन किए थे, एकदम कॉलेज के लड़के, बिल्कुल फ्रेश हो, ठीक है, कॉलेज से निकल के आ गए, नुक्कड़ में अड्डा मारने वाले बंदे. और in another 1 month time we were sent for training and we had gone to get trained at a hotel called Taj Convention Center in Delhi. Lifetime experience ना. और ताज कन्वेंशन सेंटर जैसे होटल में 5 स्टार 7 स्टार प्रॉपर्टी में 15 डेज की ट्रेनिंग होगी, सुबह से शाम खाना पीना मस्ती सब. दिस वाज अ ड्रीम फॉर अस. हम लोग थे क्या, फ्रेश अप फ्रॉम कॉलेज यार, ठीक है, रास्ते के कोने में बैठ के चाय पीने वाले नुक्कड़ में मैंने घूमने वाले बंदे पहुंच गए 5 स्टार होटल में, 7 स्टार प्रॉपर्टी में जाके. तो after the 12 days, 2 weeks training, the last day was a get together with the full top management of Nestle. तो हम लोग सब बाहर खड़े खड़े कोई सिगरेट पी रहा है कि कुछ भी कर रहे हैं हम लोग. मिनटें कार आती है सामने लॉबी में और हम लोग लॉबी के बाहर ही खड़े. तो दिस जेंटलमैन कम्स आउट ऑफ द कार, मिस्टर अजय नाम का, फिर आके हाय गाइस हाउ आर यू, सब ठीक है सर. इतना बड़ा ही बंदा क्या बोले, सब ठीक है सर, हाउ इज लाइफ, how is it training, ये वो, how is sales, etc. So what is your background, tell me something about yourself. तो सबका इंट्रोडक्शन दिया. Any problem? So तभी हम लोग को जस्ट एक ही महीना हुआ था, 35 days. Any problem you are facing, कुछ भी है ये बताओ, tell us, we can take care of it. तो सबने अपना अपना बोला, नहीं सर कुछ नहीं है, सब ठीक है, we are enjoying the work, etc. तो खाली मैं बीच में से बोल दिया, सर the biggest problem, उन्होंने ये पूछा था, any problem in life. सबने बड़ा सोबरली बोला, नो प्रॉब्लम, वी आर एंजॉयिंग इट. तो मैंने थोड़ा सा स्मार्ट होके बोला, सर द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम आई हैव इन माय लाइफ टुडे इज दैट आई कांट यूज फिजिक्स एनीमोर. आई वाज अ फिजिक्स ऑनर्स स्टूडेंट, आई वाज अ वेरी गुड स्टूडेंट ऑफ फिजिक्स. और वहां से आ गया था नेस्ले में माल बेचने के लिए, ठीक है. तो आई सेड कि सर आई कैन नेवर यूज फिजिक्स एनीमोर इन माय लाइफ. मेरी तरफ देखें, बोले ओके गुड, सो यू आर अ फिजिक्स ग्रेजुएट, so what do you want to be in life? So I said, sir, और Nestle obviously all MBAs from IIM, SHIAM का MBAs हैं, वहाँ पर काम करते हैं. तो मैंने बोला, नहीं सर, I want to be somebody like you, and that I know I can never be. I am not an MBA from IIM. पता है what he said? And these are all quotations. अभी भी मैं सारा जिंदगी remember करूँगा. Not because Ajay Banga is there. He said, sir, the biggest problem in your life is to think about the problem. What do you want to do? You want to go into IIMs? I said, yes, sir. Leave the job today. Just now, resign. Go and study for next 1 year. Appear for CAT, get into an IIM, there will be 20 Nestles behind you. And so truth. Huh? This is what a leader can do. This is how a leader motivates. Leave Nestle now. Go and study for next 1 year. Get into IIM. That those times there were only 4 IIMs actually. Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Bangalore. 3 IIMs. Lucknow bhi nahi tha. Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Bangalore. Get into an IIM and there will be 20 Nestle's. ये बंदा कहाँ पहुंचा? That's it. And I wish all of you get such charismatic leaders in life. So many stories. I can continue telling stories about last 35 years. So interesting stories.
You know, sir, I was actually telling Priyanshu कि मैं हूँ नहीं सर ऐसे मतलब टेक्निकल वाली बंदी, मतलब मैंने सीखा है पीडीएफ बनाना अभी जब कोविड आया तो. I don't like this tech platform. I'm a person who needs conversation, that thing. I hate this genuinely. I'm not a person who attends online classes. And initially, sir, to be very frank, जब तक मार्केटिंग नहीं पढ़ाई गई थी, जब वो अलग अलग जब ऑनर्स अलग सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़ाते हैं, I was not very keen. But you know, here है genuinely इतनी सारी एग्जाम्पल्स के थ्रू पढ़ाते हो ना, वो इतना रिलेटेबल होता है. सो आई से कि तू पागल है, तू आ जाना नहीं था शहर में. कल की क्लास वाज सो, मतलब मैं आज पता है यूट्यूब पे वी आर प्लेइंग सॉन्ग्स एंड जब वो एड्स आ रहे थे ना, मेरे को क्लास याद आई कि बफर एड्स है, ये स्किपेबल वाले हैं, ये सबको देखना है, कैसे पैसे मिलते हैं. So this genuinely happens and I'm like really glad that I'm doing this course. I'm genuinely glad about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Write a testimonial on the platform somewhere. Great, wonderful. Chalo. I'm also enjoying teaching you guys, sharing with you guys, more important. Whatever you like, I think if you guys have a LinkedIn, you guys have LinkedIn. Aditya have a LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Priyanshu, you have a LinkedIn?
Yes, sir.
So whatever you like in these sessions, put it on the post.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Because that will make yourself a brand most important. So यहाँ पर इतनी सारी learning हो रही है ना, take those learning, put every day a snippet out of that. ठीक है? And second very important thing, give a testimonial for me. ठीक है? चलो. Before I leave you guys in this marketing session and in another 1.5 months, I will actually sit with you in one session. 2 sessions already हो गए. एक अदिति का और क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन होना है, ठीक है. एक मैं आप लोगों को स्ट्रेटजी के बारे में एक सेपरेट सेशन दूंगा. So and those will be all extra. And the last one, what I will do is with both of you guys, or even Akshita if she comes in, is I will review your LinkedIn profiles and tell you how to improve on your LinkedIn profile. Okay. I already told you personally that I am one of the global LinkedIn trainers. Okay. There are 10 trainers in India. I am one of them. Okay. So we volunteer for LinkedIn to help people make their profiles in LinkedIn, to understand LinkedIn, type of things. So before I leave you guys in the next 1.5 months, I think I'll make your LinkedIn profiles right. Okay. चलो, take care. Good night. हर दिन 9:15 बज रहा है. ठीक है, चलो, take care. See you next week. हाँ, मैंने बोला everyday 9:15 बज रहा है आप लोगों को.